Frequently asked questions. On customs valuation. What is customs valuation and how does it work? Customs valuation is a customs procedure applied to determine the customs value of imported goods. If the rate of duty is ad valorem, the customs value is essential to determine the duty to be paid on an imported good. What is the importance and purpose of customs valuation? Customs valuation is important because it determines the amount of duty to be paid. If the imported or exported goods are found undervalued, it may lead to delays in shipment and penalties. It may also result in lost revenue to the company. On the other hand, it is important in various aspects of international trade, including statistics, quota and licensing arrangements, taxes and charges levied on imports, and lastly, the application of a preference system. The customs valuation purpose should be based on the actual value of the imported goods on which duty is assessed, and to hold to commercial realities and prohibits the use of arbitrary or fictitious customs value. It gives, as its basis, the use of transaction value, selling price, between buyer and seller, and it specifies an alternative method to be used in sequential order for determining value when the transaction value cannot be used. From what international organization the customs valuation comes from? The international organization that customs valuation comes from is the World Trade Organization. See Agreement on Implementation of Article 7 of the GATT, Customs Valuation 1979. What is the basis of customs valuation in the Philippines? The basis of customs valuation in the Philippines is the primary method of valuation under Sec. 701 of the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act is the transaction value of the imported goods, which means the price actually paid or payable for the goods when sold for export to the Philippines with certain dutiable adjustments. What are the 6 methods of valuation? 1. Transaction value. 2. Transaction value of identical goods. 3. Transaction value of similar goods. 4. Deductive method. 5. Computed method. 6. Fallback method. What is the Philippine law that governs the customs valuation? 2 Philippine laws govern customs valuation because the Philippines government needed to adopt its international treaty obligations into domestic law. It enacted Republic Act 8181 in 1997, which enabled transaction valuation reform. In 2001, the government adopted Republic Act 9135 to fix the problem in RA 8181 to authorize the post-entry audit system because, at that time, various obstacles hindered the implementation of this law. What is the current status of the Philippine customs valuation? On April 28, 2001, President Arroyo signed RA 9135 into law. This act is more transparent and compatible with the WTO Customs Valuation Agreement, eliminates unnecessary discretion, and ensures revenues in a more secure way than RA 8181. The Republic Act No. 8181. Transaction Value Act. An act changing the basis of dutiable value of imported articles subject to an ad valorem rate of duty from the home consumption value to transaction value, amending for the purpose of Section 201 of Title II, Part 1 of Presidential Decree No. 1464, otherwise known as the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines, as amended, and for other purposes. How does customs valuation affect the job of a customs broker? The Post-Entry Audit Group contributed quite significant revenue collections from its conduct of post-clearance audit, which resulted in the payment of additional duties and taxes arising from deficiency assessments, penalties, and voluntary disclosures from importers. Can an article be released from the box without customs valuation? No, because if the item is payable and dutiable, it must go through the proper valuation process. What are the pros and cons of customs valuation? The pros of customs valuation is that for any firm involved in international trade, its fair and expected standards for the value of commodities for customs purposes are important. While the cons are customs administrations generally seek to get systems and workforce up to the level of skill required to combat valuation fraud under a more favorable regulatory environment. Those were the 10 frequently asked questions on customs valuation. Thanks for watching.